Hey guys, so today I'm going to be sharing with you my collection of mostly antiquated books. All my very favorite books that I've collected over the years from different libraries, antique stores, thrift stores. Some of them I've been given by grandparents who have passed away or who are still alive, and so this collection is just very special to me, and as I go through I'll kind of be explaining a little bit about each book and why they matter. So hope you enjoy. This stunning cover belongs to Om de Oude Wereldzee, or Around the Old World Sea, by Abraham Kuyper. If you've watched my previous writing vlogs, you know that I'm immensely interested in this Dutch theologian and statesman, and so I was so excited to pick up this rare 1907 edition from my university library when I was doing an internship there. Essentially, this is a travelogue and cultural commentary from when Abraham Kuyper traveled around the Mediterranean in 1906. It contains fascinating observations of the religious and political systems of various Mediterranean societies at the time, though I can only piece snippets together as it's written entirely in Dutch. This edition of the Cambridge Guide to Literature in English I picked up at a thrift store not too long ago. It's essentially a handy reference guide in which I can easily access information on English writers, works, schools of thought, literary movements, genres, terms, and so forth. Next we have De Bijbels Geschiedenis by B.J. van Wyk. Essentially, it's a history of the Bible for children, with a focus on the Old Testament. It was published in 1948 and is written in Dutch. I inherited this from my great Oma and Opa, so it's a treasure I'll keep for the rest of my life. This 1971 edition is from the Nobel Prize Library, containing the presentation addresses and acceptance speeches of Winston Churchill in 1953 and Albert Camus in 1957. Also included are excerpts from several works of these great men: My Early Life and the Island Race by Churchill, and The Plague by Camus. Nacht over Nederland, or Night over the Netherlands, a collection of journalistic reports of the Nazi occupation from 1940 to 1945. This book was published immediately after the war in 1945 and contains photographic documentation as well. Here I have the twin edition to De Bijbels Geschiedenis mentioned previously, though this one is more fragile. This Dutch children's history focuses on the New Testament and was published in 1949. The Chosen Word, a Bible study course for the home. This is a 1915 edition published in London, England. It's a very detailed Bible study guide complete with maps, illustrations, quizzes, and detailed lessons straight from Scripture. Thankfully, this book is written in English, so I can fully enjoy the wealth of wisdom inside of it. Next, I have an adorable 1950 edition of The World of Christopher Robin by A. A. Milne. This book features poetry and illustrations of the boy who became a key figure in the later iconic Winnie the Pooh series. Wow! This is an 1892 edition of Ons Programme, or Our Program. Abraham Kuyper led the Anti-Revolutionary Party, an orthodox reformed political party in the Netherlands, for many years. Essentially, this book is the ARP's official platform on all prevalent political issues of the day, drafted by Kuyper himself. This is a collection of essays on the heritage of British literature, published in 1983. There are sections dedicated to poets, novelists, dramatists, and diaries and journals. Throughout the book are wonderful photos and illustrations to complement the text. Another one of my favorites, Ons Vaderland, or Our Homeland, by D. Hans. Published in Dutch in 1940, this book explores what the author believes to be the greatest achievements of the Dutch people. From what I can tell, its focus seems to be on religious history. And then, of course, a stunning 1938 edition of the complete works of William Shakespeare, including his greatest plays and poems. My favorites being Othello, The Moor of Venice, Much Ado About Nothing, The Tempest, and As You Like It. This is a gorgeous little 1935 edition of Nicolo Machiavelli's The Prince, an iconic political treatise that instructs princes to achieve their ends for glory and survival through whatever means necessary. Then I have 3 complementary editions of stories by English authors. The first, on The Orient, was published in 1896 and contains a piece by Rudyard Kipling. The second and third, on The Sea and on Africa, were published in 1902 and feature Arthur Conan Doyle. This next book, Carolintje, is rather odd. It tells the story of a young baby's life in Dutch, but it's special to me because it's my namesake. Yes, my name is Carolyn, though it's spelled differently, and because I inherited it from my great Oma and Opa. These Dutch histories, published in 1912 and 1917, tell the story of the Dolianti, a church split led by Abraham Kuyper in which a number of Orthodox Reformed congregations split from the established state church in response to its lack of pious orthodoxy. Het Leven van John Bunyan, or The Life of John Bunyan, published in Dutch in 1965 by R.T. Huizinga, is a biography of the English Puritan preacher who famously wrote Pilgrim's Progress. This next book needs no explanation, The Swiss Family Robinson by Mary Godolphin, a 1900 edition. Two beautiful Harvard classics. The 1910 edition, titled Voyages and Travels, contains excerpts from Herodotus's account of Egypt to the voyages of Sir Francis Drake. Then, my personal favorite, a 1917 edition of Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Then, oh my goodness, a great antique mall find. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, A History of Nazi Germany by William Shirer. This is a 1960 edition of one of the most comprehensive, well-renowned histories of Nazi Germany, a must-have for any 20th century history buff. Next I have Jerusalem, a novel by Selma Lagerlöf about Jewish families living in Sweden and a community of Swedish emigrants in Jerusalem. This Dutch edition was published sometime after 1902. Finally, I have this gorgeous little copy of Myths Every Child Should Know, a collection of short tales edited by Hamilton Wright Mabie. Inside are mythical tales such as the Cyclops and how Odin lost his eye. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if any of these titles were familiar to you, or share your own favorite literary treasures in the comments below.